Hi, and welcome to the Tower Garden webinar. I'm really excited that you have chosen to take time out to watch this webinar here. I'm going to promise to do my best to keep it within 30 minutes so you can learn all about this green machine behind me here. And I really want to share with you why it is the best green deal out there. My name is Jennifer Owen, and I'm an international marketing director with the Juice Plus company. And I've been with this company now for over 19 years. I am also a Pilates instructor and fitness trainer and a busy mom of two. And today I'm going to spend about 30 minutes sharing with you how our family has been able to reduce our carbon footprint by growing food on this vertical garden behind me here. And really, how we've been doing that over 4 seasons, growing abundantly right here in our kitchen. So before I dive into that, I just want to share with you, this is a foolproof appliance, and it is really an invitation to an awakening experience on how you can do something good for the environment, make different choices. And so some things that I've learned over the last 8 years growing on the Tower Garden has been, there's a lot of people out there who would love to do more for the environment, but they really just don't know how. They don't know where to start. They don't know what really can make a difference. They just don't know. And so I will say that the Tower Garden has been an incredible catalyst for our family, because we really didn't know a lot of the things that we know and do now. And it really is because of the Tower Garden that we learned. And so it's this journey of experiences and invitations to, do better. So I want to ask you a question. What if you could grow just 10% of the foods that you're eating today? Do you think that that would have an impact on your health? Do you think that that might have an impact on the environment? And do you think that that would have an impact on your food budget? Because I'm going to tell you, it absolutely 100% would for all three. Check, check, check. So some things, that really impact our food decisions are organic, the cost of food, the taste of food, the availability, and of course, local. And so as you can see, this Tower Garden is right here behind me. I am sitting at our dinner table, and my kitchen is right here where we food prep and make dinner. So it literally is tower to table. And I'm really, really excited to share this with you because it's so, so simple. And, just to be really clear and truthful about my gardening experience, I've got 2 really big influences in my life. One was when I was in grade 3, where we learned how to plant seeds in milk cartons. And I might be judging myself a little, or not judging myself, but dating myself a little bit there. But yeah, we put seeds in milk cartons and they sprouted into seedlings. And honestly, I don't know whatever happened to them, because that was the extent of the lesson. So if you are a teacher or know of a teacher, these Tower Gardens are incredible learning tools for classrooms. In fact, I call them the iPad of gardens. You can study math and science and English and the environment, of course. It's just a wonderful tool for any classroom. So again, schools have incredible grants available to them where they can get Tower Gardens for free. So plug into, ways that you can find resources to get your school a Tower Garden and connect with the person who invited you here to learn how that could be made possible. So the other extent of my gardening experience was, I think it was about 2005, where my husband built a raised garden for our backyard, because we really saw the value of growing our own food. And when I stepped out with my second child, newborn, in my arms, my husband was really, really proud of the garden he built. But I asked him a question that pretty much, I think, deflated him at the time. And it was, is that made with pressure treated wood? And of course it was. So he had to take it all apart. And I share that because, it's really important to know that whatever we're growing our food in, our food will take up. So we cannot wash chemicals off of our food. It literally is, whatever the food is grown in is going to be woven into every fiber of that plant. So, so I'm going to share here. If you've got questions, again, connect back with the person who invited you here. My goal really is to inspire you to think differently about how you're buying and eating and living even. Okay. So My story with the Tower Gardens is actually really simple. I was introduced to them in 2011 at a conference that our company hosted, and I thought they were interesting, but I definitely did not see any value in them. To me, they were big, they were clunky, they were expensive, and they were going to require way more customer care than our base product. So if you don't know, the Juice Plus company is the company behind the Tower Gardens, and our base product is fruits and vegetables in a capsule. So this is very, very different from that. I guess it's not so much so because it's fruits and vegetables on a like a tube, if you will. But anyways, I really didn't see the value of the Tower Garden initially, and it wasn't until we made our first purchase that I started kind of seeing the bigger picture of it. So as a national marketing director at that time, I really believed that in order for me to share this authentically, I needed to purchase one. And so our family purchased like the most basic one, no extension, no lights, no cages, no nothing. I expected this thing to end up in the loft of our garage. That's how much faith I had. And it's wild because today I am a raving fan of these things. Because of the impact that it's had on our family. So, the things that trigger me for stepping out of my comfort zone and, putting kind of my farmer hat on is my kids. Being a parent, I do feel very concerned about my children's future. And I can't unlearn the things that I've learned. I think that, once you kind of open up that Pandora's box to discover, that, climate change isn't going to wait. And, it really is dependent upon us changing, our mindset, thinking differently about, old ways of doing things and being open to reevaluating how we're, how we are living in our modern world today. And I'll say this, the earth requires us to. That is really my belief. And so anyways, Tower gardening offers an opportunity to become a steward of the land. We work together with everybody. I still love and adore my farmers markets, but really this is something that I can do to support them and our environment while getting healthy at the same time. Because I really believe that we all deserve clean air to breathe, fresh water to drink, and the gift of being able to call all this our home, Earth, right? So you can hear the Tower Garden just went on. It is on a timer system, and I'm going to get there. But here's the deal. I have discovered truths I can no longer ignore when it comes to our food. And, again, as I said to you, I choose to be a part of the solution, not a contributor to the problem. And this thing here allows me to do just that. So I'm going to dive into some facts here. And, oh, here we go. There we go. Okay. Wake up world. I am always hashtagging this. This is not a very inspiring slide, but it is a very truthful slide. And so I'm going to go over some of these images just to bring to your attention some things that you need to know. Okay. And again, remember what I said, we can't unlearn things. So the first one with the bread. I live in Simcoe County. 12% of families here in Simcoe County are food insecure. 1 in 6 children in Canada are food insecure. How we find this or accept this, I do not know, but I am choosing to do something about it. And so how are we going to feed our communities? The Tower Garden is an incredible solution for communities, for seniors' homes. I'll say this, actually, our company gives a Tower Garden away to every boys and girls clubs here in North America. That's one thing that our company is doing. And then we, as partners with the company, get to go and support that. So pretty amazing. Second picture, food waste. It is, it's a fine head of lettuce, it looks like, right? I don't know why it's being picked, but it is. But here's the reality. 75% of lettuce grown is thrown in the garbage. What a complete disregard for, well, the lettuce, but also the resources that went into growing that lettuce. So from the people power to the seed, to the water, to the land that was used in growing it. And for me, it seems criminal to throw away perfectly good food. The problem with this that people don't think about often enough is that this food that we throw away, this food waste that exists in our modern societies, and it happens in our homes too. So it's not, there's no judgment here. Again, like I said, when we started gardening this way, I started looking at how we were living, and we had food waste. So we still have food waste that happens in our home. So, but we have much less than we used to. And we have learned ways to use it up before, it goes bad. There's all kinds of ways you can do that, right? So again, like I said, it's an awakening. But here's the thing, okay? So this food actually clogs our landfills and contributes to the greenhouse gas effect. Okay, so not only are we wasting that food and the resources, but now we are literally like feeding the clogging problem in our landfills that is creating more pollution in our world. The third image here, chemicals on our food. We teach our children that we need chemicals on our food. How do I know this? Because I've got 2 teenagers in high school, and this is what they're taught. We don't need chemicals on our food for food security. Actually, if we just look at the second slide there, if we just stopped throwing away our food, then maybe we wouldn't need to grow such mass amounts with chemicals because we actually have enough food. We're just not using it properly. So the problem with chemicals on our food is this, okay? It cumulatively builds up in our bodies. And then the impact of that is we see it showing up as hormone disruptors, allergies, autoimmune disorders, all kinds of illnesses and diseases. And I'll kind of share like this, okay? So every food has a maximum residual limit. So that's every food is allowed so much chemicals on it. But what if we are putting our dinner together, and let's choose a salad, for example. So I'm going to choose my romaine lettuce. I'm going to chop up some tomato. I'm going to slice up some zucchini or cucumber. I'm going to grate some carrots on that. I'm going to add maybe some sprouts. And I've got now this gorgeous salad. The problem is that each of those foods has a maximum residual limit. And now together, the load of toxins on that bowl of salad is much greater. So now we're eating this, and this now has an impact in our bodies. And if I'm eating a salad every day, what's happening in my body? My body is now accumulating all these chemicals as well. So it matters, right? Carbon footprint, the bottom left image there. It is a fact that our human activity is negatively impacting our earth. Okay, our food travels far too much today than it ever did before. The greenhouse gas emissions by the foods that we are, harvesting and rearing and transporting and storing and all that good stuff, processing, it has such a huge price tag on it. And again, the average Canadian meal travels over 3,000 miles. So the next time you're sitting down to dinner, look at your plate and ask yourself, how far has this food traveled to my plate? And what it is really, guys, it's about turning, the bag over or checking your produce to see how far it's come, wherever it's coming from. Just everything you eat, just turn it over and find out where it's coming from, because you might find yourself just thinking a little bit more about that and then maybe making changes. Fingers crossed. Okay. Water shortages. So here's the deal. Water is not an unlimited resource. It actually is quite limited. 1% of the Earth's water is drinkable today. And most of that 1% is right here in Canada. We have wars over oil. We cannot live without water. There is no life without water. So, when you are brushing your teeth and doing small loads of laundry, I know most people probably don't do that anymore. But again, these are things that, I still see in my neighborhood. I will go and, take a bike ride, and I see people washing their driveways, which we don't need to wash our driveways. I can assure you Mother Nature has incredible rainfalls that do a really great job of giving our streets and sidewalks and grasses, good showers of rain. So let's save our water for, more important things like growing food. So to the last square there, this is what drought looks like. This is what you know, soil that's been completely depleted of any nutritional value looks like. And, you know, we can't grow food in that. Um, Food basically, you know, what used to be, you know, really high nutrient dense carrots when our grandparents were, you know, thriving and in their younger days is now not the same, you know, carrot that we eat today. And really, you know, we have stripped the nutritional value of our soil, and you know, it's impacted the quality of food that we're eating from generation to generation. And so, you know, what used to be good for us is now a challenge. And so, you know, it's funny because I always think how, you know, children, there's such a struggle to get them to eat good quality fruits and vegetables. And when you notice the difference in taste, because let me tell you, the food that we grow on our tower is, I mean, you could see how green that is. Like I'm growing celery and parsley and kale and Swiss chard and all that, but it tastes different. There's a huge taste difference. And so we wonder why our kids aren't eating, you know, the white lettuce, because it's white lettuce and there is no taste to it. So we can't really blame them, but you know, it's about, again, changing, you know, ways that we're thinking about food. So okay, let's talk about some cool and exciting things. Earth and science, yay. NASA has been actually studying aeroponics for decades now. I think that they first started in 1960, and you know, they knew that the population of the Earth was growing. So for them, their goal is, you know, how do we study aeroponics so that it improves lives, to help reduce the number of crop fields, to preserve nitrates in the soil, and how to use less water. So I think it's really fascinating. They've got an amazing program called GRACE, and it's called Gravity Recovery and Climate Experiment. It's so cool. If you've got kids, check it out. If you're a homeschooler, or if your kid is schooling from home, or even not, maybe you're a big kid, it's super cool. I encourage you, go dive into that. Because again, when we start learning these things, it brings us to a new door of opportunity to learn. And it's really amazing what we can do. Like I call this the future of food. The Tower Garden is the future of food, because if we can grow fresh food year round on it, then why aren't we doing more of this? That's the way I look at the Tower Garden. It's a no-brainer. So to the right side of the slide here, an easy solution to feeding the growing population is the Tower Garden. So there was a study done at the University of Mississippi, published research showing that the Tower Garden grows nutrient-dense foods, that it uses 90% less land, that it uses 98% less water, and of course that it has been studied by NASA. So this was actually a really interesting study, because what they did is they took land and the Tower Garden side by side, so same field, and then they had expert farmers, and then they had experienced tower gardeners, and they both grew the same foods. It's really cool. Like we're talking kale and basil, like they were growing the same crops. And what they learned in this study was that the food was as nutrient dense as on the Tower Garden as it was in the Earth, or more. And I think that's pretty cool, because A, we're using much less resources, and B, the workload is far different. So of course they didn't have to till the land or weed or, you know, kneel to, you know, do all the work as you would in an Earth garden. With a Tower Garden, it's upright. And quite frankly, I'll share that, you know, it's one of the reasons why Tower Gardens do so well in seniors' homes, because, you know, seniors, they're a generation that grew up gardening. And for some seniors, they are confined to wheelchairs, or they're not up and walking around as they once were. And so you could literally, you know, garden from a wheelchair using the Tower Garden. So I mean, we've seen seniors liven up because they're excited about, you know, the crops that they're growing on their Tower Garden, and it brings them back to life, because this is what they know, right? Growing food from seed. So what is a Tower Garden? It is a state-of-the-art vertical aeroponic closed garden system in a nutshell. So as you can see, the water is pumped up from the reservoir through the center of the Tower Garden, and then it literally showers the water, the roots of the plants that you're growing. So it's all on a timer system. The lights are on the timer system. The water's on the timer system. The reservoir holds 20 gallons of water for the Tower Garden Flex, or about, I think it's 15 gallons of water for the Tower Garden Home. Again, it's just a beautiful system. It is made in the USA, which is great because their standards for, creating products where you can grow food in are super superior. So this is a food safe grade plastic. So remember what I said earlier about the pressure treated wood, it matters, right? So the tower garden itself, so when you purchase a tower garden kit, this is what you're getting. You're getting your tower garden, your pump, your timer, your 20 rock wool, your net pots, your tonic A and B, which is an ionic blend of earth and sea minerals. That is your food, your plant food. You have a pH test kit, which is a great tool for kids and learning because they can test the pH of the water. It's one of the reasons why schools love tower gardens. You also have a drain hose, non-GMO seeds. And if I can give like a big shout out to the Juice Plus company for choosing to include non-GMO seeds with every purchase of tower gardens. It says a lot about the character of the company. And of course, you get community and support and so many comprehensive resources. So again, if you're a teacher, there's really great student learning tools in our Tower Garden website. So be sure to connect with the person who invited you here and ask them to dig into that because it's really great curriculum-based stuff. So here's the thing with tower gardens. You don't have to be an expert to be growing on a tower garden. I am proof of this, as many other people are. And the things that we love to grow in our family and things we have grown, so like kale, shards, arugula, spinach, dandelion, all kinds of lettuces. I tell you, I had no idea that there were that many different kinds of lettuces that existed. Of course, your herbs. So we love basil, cilantro, oregano, parsley, mint, chives. These are things that, you know, we enjoy in our home. Cilantro for sure. I know it's a love or hate. We're lovers of cilantro. Tomatoes, again, who knew the variety of that? And of course, I really enjoy heirloom tomatoes. The taste difference is unbelievable. Like, and cucumbers, like so unbelievable. You just don't even know. I remember the first year we grew broccoli, and my eldest, I think she was about 13 at the time, and she was like, "Mom, I had no idea that broccoli could be this crunchy and juicy at the same time." Yeah, check that out for the next time you bite into a broccoli. Test it out for yourself. Tomatoes, peppers, squashes, pumpkin, zucchini, all that good stuff. You can grow all that. So heavy items, just so you know, grow on the bottom. Lighter stuff grows on top. So I have become an official seed collector. And that really is just what happens because you find the things that you really enjoy growing and then you end up, you know, trying varieties of them. But let me tell you, there is something so cool about growing food from seed. And actually that was a game changer for me. So like I said to you, I was not a fan with the Tower Garden when they were first launched. In 2012, spring is when I purchased it very, very hesitantly. And when it came to our door, I remember my girls were really excited about this big box. And I thought, of course they are. They're going to turn it into a house and color all over. And that would have been great. But they couldn't get it out fast enough. They could not get the Tower Garden out of the box fast enough. And before I knew it, my 9-year-old was building the Tower Garden without instruction. It makes sense. It goes together like they're playing with Lego. And that kind of really tweaked my thoughts because I was like, okay, well, it's pretty simple that like a 9-year-old could put this together. But the deal that sealed it for me was actually planting seed with my youngest. And we were across from the table. She had a cucumber seed in her hand and she said, "Mom, how much food do you think is going to come from this one seed?" And I was like, whoa, I got it. That was the moment why I understood why our company chose to take on Tower Gardens in that I'll never ever forget it. I had never thought about that before. I never thought about how much food can come from a single seed. So it was really cool. You know, tower gardening on a daily basis is a gentle reminder to take a moment, to be present, to be mindful, to even get outside. I mean, for goodness sakes, we're growing a tree in our kitchen, right? And actually it gives off oxygen. We are the 29th of October right now. Our windows, we're not opening them up anymore. The days are getting darker. I think in 2 weeks we roll back the clocks. So at a time of the year when, you know, windows are closed up, the days are long and dark, you know, we've got this blast of sunshine happening right here in our kitchen. There is so much healing that comes from this. I've had teachers come back and tell me, I got students from all over the school who come and choose to sit beside the Tower Garden because of how it helps their mood, the lights. Pretty amazing, right? For me, I think the Tower Garden offers an opportunity to pay attention to the quietness around us. And we have so much noise happening in our world today, like a lot, that it's a very healing thing to be able to just sit and be and enjoy the quietness of things and like to watch nature. So here I've got a couple of seedlings. I mean, we planted this from seed. So this is a single one. This is the Rockwool, what it looks like, okay? And just so you know, Rockwool comes in a flat, but here's kale and lettuce. This was all planted from seed. There is so much to be gained by enjoying growing food from seed. Like, it's honestly so profound, I could hardly express it in words. And I don't think I do justice even if I try. The other thing about the Tower Garden is I literally every single day get to activate my activism. This is a belief system. The Tower Garden is not just a product, it is a movement. That is what happens when you purchase a Tower Garden. It's very, very cool. And I am so proud to be on this movement. Okay, some food facts. Gardeners eat more vegetables because it's readily available food. Look, my kids come and hang around the Tower Garden and they literally eat and pick off of it. It is the best version of fast food that I could provide for them. And then to my next point, it's clinically proven that children who grow their own vegetables eat more of them. Of course, I see it every day. But in 2014, the UK did a study showing that eating over 7 to 10 servings of fruits and vegetables a day helps to reduce the risk from dying of any disease by 42%. Why are we eating more fruits and vegetables if we know that this is a simple thing that we can do that helps us to live longer and healthier, right? Remember what I said before? We can't unlearn what we learn. It's a good thing to learn. Okay, maintenance on a Tower Garden. So basically you are topping up your water, you're adding tonic, you're checking your pH. I'm going to confess, I've not checked my pH at all this year. You can see how gorgeous my tower looks. It's green. If it were starting to brown or wilt or whatever, then it catches my attention and I might check the pH, but I have had no reason to. It's thriving clearly. Remove the roots. So the roots will grow down into that reservoir. I literally just put my hand in and pull them out and harvest and eat. That is the workload on a Tower Garden. In the spring, you can move it outside as it is, harvest and prune, and then plant new seedlings. So I do really like to plant flowers. And the reason I like to plant flowers is because I want to support our pollinators. You know, when we plant lots of flowers, we have the bees, they come by, they love the Tower Garden. There's so much for them to do and buzz around there. It also selfishly benefits us because of course they are pollinating the food that we're eating. In the fall, take it apart, clean it out, rebuild it, and then plug in fresh seedlings. It's so simple. So the ongoing costs of a Tower Garden, your tonic A and B is $85. And I would say that would last you. So you get your tonic A and B with your starter kit, but to replace it is $85. It'll last you a good 6 months, depending on what you're growing, give or take. Your net pots, which is this. So that is what your Rockwool actually sits in. And then you plug that into the Tower Garden. So the net pot is something that can break. I reuse mine over and over. This is actually a used one. I don't know if you could see. So this is a used one. I use it over and over again until it literally breaks. Things that could break it would be like a chard root, kale, broccoli, like they grow really big roots, and sometimes you just can't get you can't remove the plant without breaking the plastic. But I recycle most of mine. Yeah, definitely most of mine. And I use them over and over and over again until I can't. Your Rockwool. So this is the medium that we use to plant the seeds. And like I said, it comes in a flat of about, I think it's about 98 and it's like 25 bucks, or sorry, 34 bucks. So very, depending on your tax, I think there's tax in that. So again, very affordable, right? And then your seeds. So you can pick up your seeds anywhere you want. I've got a couple of favorite places that I like to order mine from, but I mean, you can get them at your local hardware store, or you can order them online. Very, very simple and easy to do. And again, you know, you'll find out which seeds you really enjoy growing. So it's literally a plug and play system. Know your needs. This is a very important slide. I'm going to run through what the difference is between those two. We own both of these units. Actually, we own 3 flexes and a tower garden home. So the tower garden flex can grow indoors and outdoors. It holds 20 pods. The size is 62 by 31 by 30. It comes with a programmable water timer. The options to add on that. So this is, remember when I said that like I ordered one for our family, the most basic unit? This was what I ordered. So it comes with everything you need to start growing. Some options that you can add onto this are the lights, the cage, the wheels, and the extension, okay? That is not what we did the first time. And then you have your tower garden home. So your tower garden home is also can be grown indoors and outdoors. You've got 16 regular pods and then 16 microgreens. So these are the microgreens at the top. Microgreens are really great because you actually have more punch and more nutritional value. They also grow faster, so you're harvesting them more often. And you know, they offer a really rich flavored texture and taste. So think of things like mustard greens or baby kale or arugula even. Arugula can be really, really spicy, but you know, growing the microgreens just allows them for a milder taste. So if you want to top it up with your salad or your sandwiches or even soup. So you have a water level monitor. Sorry, the size is 24 by 30 by 30. So you can see it's quite a bit smaller actually than the Flex. You have a programmable water timer as well, and the wheels are attached to this unit. The lights are optional. What you cannot add on a tower garden home is the cage or extension. Okay, so this is very, very important. You could add the extension, just so you know, but what it means is the pump is a little bit smaller in the tower garden home. So you would want to make sure that you might need to get I would say get a bigger pump if you're going to put an extension on that. However, you know, the higher you go, you've got a smaller base. So I prefer to keep the tower garden home as it is. If you do feel that you need the cage or you want to grow things like peppers and tomatoes and things like that, you need a cage. So then even if you love the tower garden home, the Flex is what you need if those are the foods you want to grow. So in a nutshell, I call my tower garden Flex my yoga pants, and I call my tower garden home my little black dress. This one is very practical, and this one allows me to grow. We juice and we eat a lot of salads and soups and that. So this is like, I call it our juicing salad tower. But of course it could be anything you want, but yeah, so that's the difference. Here is the price difference between the two. So the Tower Garden Flex, the base unit is $750. The lights are $385. The cage is another $100. The microgreens are $100. The total is $1,350 paid in full, or it's $112, and that is on an interest-free payment plan. So taxes and shipping are not included here, okay? The Tower Garden Home, the base unit is $810. Add the lights, you've got another $385 for a total of $1,195 paid in full. You can also use that, pay that in interest-free 12-month interest-free payment plan, and that's $99.58. So here's the thing. Opening up a partner account allows you to save $187 on your Flex or $202 on your home. It's a big deal. It's a lot of money. So most people do open up a partner account just to get that extra savings. And, you know, it's recommended, quite frankly, because it's a lot of money. So here's what I want you to think about. So, you know, right now, what are you spending on groceries? And, you know, like tally it up, because remember what I said earlier, what if you could grow just 10%? Is that going to impact your health, your environment, and your food costs? It totally would. So I figured out we spend about, what we're growing here would cost us about $53 a week. Translate to that, a month. And so translate that to $212 a month, and then translate that to $2,500 a year. It adds up, right? Never mind the environmental impact, never mind the health impact, because those don't have a dollar value on them, in my opinion. So here's the thing, okay? everybody seems to get bought in our world today. And sorry. And so this really is an opportunity for individuals like you and I to push for structural change so that, we have, good things happening for our world, and it really begins with us in our homes, which is the thing that I didn't realize with the Tower Garden when we first purchased it. I mean, it really is an opportunity for us to get better, just starting with us. It always begins with ourselves first, right? And the Tower Garden is our way personally to not get bought. We're choosing to not get bought. We're choosing to take back control of the number one thing that nourishes our families, for health, and that's mind, body, and soul, and that's our food. Okay. And so, while we're doing that, we get to support a cleaner future. We get to, know that we're doing something good for the environment. We're conserving our precious resources. And, all the while we get to actually, improve our own lives, our own health. So it's a really big deal, to be able to choose, chemical-free food, to be able to connect back to our food, to be able to, have a better understanding of our ecosystem. I'm telling you, I did not know any of this 8 years ago. And so again, we get to tackle climate crisis right here in our kitchen. And I'm going to tell you something that I know 100%. We all win when the earth wins. And so when we start taking control of our actions, tweaking our ways of thinking, be open to different things, then we can make change. So thank you for plugging into this. Blessings to you all. Peace and love, and thank you so much. Please connect back with the person who shared this video with you and have a conversation about what tower gardening looks like for you and your family's lifestyle. Blessings, everybody.